pretty much been living in for 7 months now.
I feel like with it, they can't get the real help they need.
This is where we sleep.
Being told by the media that you've turned down housing. We're just wondering why he's allowed a family of 8 to sleep in a tent in a park.
Here's a $5,000 donation from us.
We're happy to cover this stay for you guys.
Oh, wow. Wow.
The cost of housing has increased 43% since 2020, which explains why on any given night, over 122,000 people in Australia are experiencing homelessness, driving more and more Australian families onto the streets. I decided to travel up to Brisbane, where many families have been forced to sleep in tents in a suburb called Rothwell, which is ironically located in Queensland Premier Stephen Miles' own electorate. Meet the Fletchers. In August last year, this family of 8 were evicted from their rental property and have been living on the streets ever since. They were forced out of their home due to the father Cameron failing to make rental repayments on time due to an ongoing back injury he suffered at work. Cameron and Tamika have 6 kids, all with special needs, and I went to visit them to understand what their living situation has been like.
How do you think you got yourself into this position?
The rent's just too much, so, you do an injury, when you're paying $650 a week in rent, starts building up.
How's it been living here for the past couple of months?
With the kids, it's been a struggle because they don't really settle well with change.
What was your sort of life like up here before, all this happened?
I was working every day, got a job being a FIFO worker. It's been fine up until, recently when, I did me back at work, and that's when we were put in this situation.
And what's been the hardest part about, you and also your kids living in a tent like this?
I just think it's the fact that they don't have a normal life.
Oh, it's hard.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like with letting kids down. That's the biggest thing, is feel like we're letting kids down. And the uncertainty of where we go next. Sorry. Not being able to get them into a stable accommodation.
Cameron took us through their tent to show us just how this family of 8 are doing their best to make it work.
This is the tent that we're, pretty much been living in for 7 months now. We can't find rentals. It's just an abomination, really. Because of all the other places we've been to, they've been smaller.
Yep.
So this section here, we haven't really been able to put up. This is where we sleep.
Yeah, wow. So this is your room?
Yep.
Yeah.
We've tried to make it a little bit homey as possible. Got the stove, the sink.
Okay.
We've got no water because the water tank is broken. This is actually the main tent. You got the 2 young ones, so 1-year-old and 2-year-old sleep in here. 3-year-old and the 7-year-old, they sleep up there. But this is how we've been living.
Despite certain media coverage in recent weeks, Cameron claims that he's never rejected Department of Housing support, but at the same time, the family have never been offered a permanent home for more than 1 to 2 weeks.
What do you say to those people that have been told by the media that you've turned down housing?
I was never, we never turned down housing. It wasn't until the news report that we actually got offered emergency accommodation. When you're having to sit there and having to pack up all this and may only get a week, and you're having to pay $700 a week for accommodation and not knowing if it's going to be 1 week, 2 weeks.
So you were never offered free housing by the Department of Housing?
No. We asked them where we're going next and they go, well, we've got nothing for you. And I don't think a lot of people understand what it's like. They think it's a choice that we're like this. This isn't a choice, and when we're getting lack of help.
All right, so that was pretty crazy hearing Cameron's side of the story and obviously seeing where he lives. Now our next steps is to basically figure out what we can do to help him get accommodation.
I really wanted to find out why the Fletchers and so many other families in the area are being forced to sleep in tents.
All right, we're just outside Queensland Premier Stephen Miles' electoral office, so let's go see what he's personally trying to do to help this situation. Hello, how are you? Quick question. I'm just wondering if the Premier is available to speak by any chance? He's not available to speak? Okay, yeah. No, we're just wondering why he's allowed a family of 8 to sleep in a tent in a park in his own electorate. He has, yes. Have you heard about that? Just want to speak to Stephen Miles by any chance. We just do documentaries online, that's all. We're just documenting the housing crisis right now, and there's obviously families in the park in Redcliffe, which is very nearby, in his own electorate.
Stephen, you can contact the Premier's office.
Yep. Sure, no worries, thank you. So old mate Stephen obviously doesn't really care about the people much, I don't think.
Weeks and weeks were going by, and we still hadn't received any communication from Queensland Premier Stephen Miles.
It quickly became clear to us just how big this issue was. So I visited various caravan parks and short-term accommodation facilities to see if we could find a safe place for the Fletchers to stay.
It's all full, is it? Do you guys live here? Where we're trying to find a family of 8 accommodation.
Out of 8.
Yeah, of 8.
Not gonna happen around
Nah, is
here,
it full
bro.
here?
But we had no luck.
You know what the most fried thing is about this whole situation? That even if they could afford, you know, an 8-bedroom house or to live somewhere normal, they still couldn't find anywhere to live because there's nothing available. There's literally nowhere to go. Like, nowhere is available in Australia from this housing crisis. Like, it's just nuts.
Seeing how the Fletchers were living day in, day out broke my heart, and I really wanted to help. I decided to start a GoFundMe, and I made a call out to all of you guys who follow me on social media to encourage people to donate. My aim was to raise enough money to cover 6 to 12 months of rent for the Fletcher family to stay in a proper home. Almost immediately, thanks to you guys being the amazing audience I have, your donations came flying in, and we were able to raise some big numbers for the family of 8. We got a $5,000 donation from Tob at Car Hub Australia, and then we were invited down to see the team at Queensland Luxury Car Rentals, who also had a significant donation they wanted to offer.
So on behalf of Queensland Luxury Car Rentals, we'd like to donate some money. Obviously, you know, you're doing a great thing, and especially with the situation there as well. Here's a $5,000 donation from us, and hopefully it goes somewhere. Yeah.
Thank you so much, bro. This will really help them.
As the days went on, things really started to pick up, and as the numbers climbed, so did our urgency to find the Fletchers a place to call home. We had more than enough funds to pay for a house for them to live in, but instead of money being the issue now, finding a landlord that would take them in seemed to be our next problem. While trying to find the Fletchers a long-term house, we decided to buy some much-needed food vouchers with the funds raised.
There we go, $2,000 worth of gift cards thanks to you guys. Without, you know, the support that you've all given the GoFundMe, we couldn't make this happen. So I'm sure this will help Cameron and Tamika's family a lot.
So before I left back to Sydney, I went to gift these vouchers to the Fletcher family, who are fortunately staying in short-term government housing for the next few weeks.
We're happy to cover this stay for you guys. If you guys can be here for a month at least, we can cover all that. If that's okay with you.
I mean, like being here, giving the kids something.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Yeah. We've also, as of the fans, not me, it's all the fans. They did all this. We got you guys $2,000 worth of gift vouchers for groceries. There you go.
Oh wow. Wow.
All yours, all yours.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know what to say, eh? You guys are absolutely awesome. From the bottom of my heart, like, you guys are, wow.
And also, to save that for, you know, the future, we can also go grocery shopping right now and, you know, get you guys some groceries if you want.
Wow. To everyone that sat there and helped, like, we cannot thank you all enough, but it just goes to show that there are a lot of kind people in this world. Me and my kids, my world. I work hard for my kids and I do what I can for them, and you guys help, and we just love you all so much.
After handing the Fletchers a few $1,000s worth of food vouchers that should get them by for a few weeks, I flew back to Sydney, hoping that within the next few days, someone would offer the Fletchers a permanent home. I spent hours and hours on the phone with landlords, real estate agents, charities, and even the Department of Housing, in hopes I could secure a place for the Fletchers with the funds you guys had raised. Our most hopeful prospect was a man from Queensland, who agreed that he would take in the family on the premise that Cameron the father would help with some handyman work on his property. But on the day we were supposed to be signing the contract, he decided to ghost me and never replied. Unfortunately for this investigation, we weren't able to secure the Fletchers a much needed home, leaving us with most of the funds raised having nowhere to be placed. It was now very
very clear to me that this housing crisis that thousands of Australians are facing has no mercy. And it's sad to see that even families like the Fletchers, who now have enough funds raised to pay for a place to live, are still being knocked back, with no one wanting to take them in.
But the hunt is far from over. Thanks to all of you guys, the family has secured the funds needed to get them into long-term accommodation, and they're ready to go. If you or someone you know can help,
Please DM me on Instagram.
because I'm determined to get them a safe and stable place to call home.